Good afternoon. This is Sonya White, Teaching and Learning Officer at the West Virginia Department of Education. I'm sitting in today for Superintendent Birch, and for this week's edition of Keeping Connected, we're going to speak with Superintendent of Wood County Schools, Mr. William Hosaflook. And today we're going to talk about virtual schools. Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. White. How are you?
I'm good. We just want to talk to you a little bit about what Wood County is doing with virtual learning. Many families decided to choose the virtual learning route for their students. So as a superintendent, what did you and your team do to provide information and assistance to families who were considering virtual instruction for their students?
Yes, that's a great question. One thing we want to do in Wood County is offer options, and we think options, customer service, that's what will bring students in. That's what parents want. And we ended up in Wood County really taking almost a 180 from first semester. And we found out in virtual school we had about 1,500 students starting off. Actually, it was about 2,300 students, and by the time everything started to roll in, we had about 1,500 students what we ended with first semester. Right now in Wood County, we are right around roughly 612 virtual school students right now, down from 1,500. However, going back to what I said, it's all about options. And one option we created was something called the Wood County Distance Learning Academy. And the Distance Learning Academy consists of our teachers teaching our curriculum, of course, using West Virginia standards, and it has made a tremendous difference. We learned this from first semester when the K through 5 elementary virtual school, we were using West Virginia Learns, which of course, West Virginia standards, but we used our teachers, and we saw a huge success rate in our elementary schools compared to our middle schools or high schools. Therefore, we created the Wood County Distance Learning Academy. We captured teachers, the middle school principals worked with teachers in their buildings to find open spots where where students can beam in throughout the day at certain times, and it's countywide. So we have roughly six elementary schools, 5 elementary schools plus the Williamstown Middle High School, and for example, a student at Van Deventer Middle School is being taught social studies by a teacher at Williamstown Middle High School, being taught English by a teacher at Hamilton Middle School. So we've really utilized all our resources countywide to provide the best education we possibly can for our students.
Thank you. Once a family chose virtual instruction for their child or children, what supports did you provide to the families, to the parents, and to the students to make sure they were successful in virtual learning environment?
Sure. Every child was assigned a Wood County teacher, most importantly, especially in elementary school. Each child was assigned a Wood County teacher for at least 2 hours at the end of the day. The parents could call. We had helplines set up. We had Schoology courses because a lot of things did happen in Schoology, and because we still wanted to get our data from iReady. So even though they were doing the West Virginia virtual school, they still had to complete iReady courses because we need the data. We need to know where students are to provide the necessary interventions in the near future.
Okay, the presence of one caring adult in the life of a child is something Superintendent Birch and the West Virginia Board of Education has stressed as vitally important to student success. Your virtual school model has a component where the teachers are assigned, the students are assigned local teachers in the county. And what made you all decide to have that decision to provide virtual instruction with your local teachers? What was the reasoning behind that?
Very simple. We believe in our teachers. We believe in Wood County teachers. We think Wood County teachers, we know Wood County teachers are some of the best in the state, and we know what they can do, and they have provided an excellent virtual education for our students. And we are really, really proud. The C&I department, myself, as well as all of Wood County is very proud of our virtual school teachers because they're taking care of our kids.
Now, when you started this back in the fall, what supports did your teachers and your students and your families need to be successful with a virtual learning program?
First and foremost, you had to have technology access, and that's one thing we had to overcome right in the very beginning. We we had some forethought. We knew that the pandemic would go into this fall and the 2021 school year. So the first thing we did, we used our CARES money and provided hotspots for every single family that did not have internet access. The next thing we did, we completed our one-to-one initiative. So every student has an iPad, every student has internet access that can have internet access, and that just opens up the world of possibilities. So any child, whether in person, virtual school, whatever it may be, has the ability to work remotely at home, especially on days we cannot come to school due to inclement weather.
In mid-January, counties were permitted to have in-person instruction in grades K through 8, regardless of the county's color on the DHHR map. For some families, virtual instruction was working, and they chose to continue there for the next grading period. So what components of your virtual program do you think played a role in families' decisions to keep their students enrolled in the virtual learning in Wood County?
As mentioned earlier, our teachers. Our teachers make a difference, and I want to keep stressing that. It's the human element, it's the human component, it's developing rapport with families, and our teachers, our virtual school teachers, are doing a fabulous job in reaching out if students aren't logging in, especially in the elementary and middle elementary levels. It's been a tremendous help to have our teachers actually be involved in the educational process rather than a teacher across West Virginia. Not to say that other teachers are not doing a great job as well, because I'm sure they are. But we believe and we trust in our teachers.
Okay. So would you like to share some of your success stories from your virtual learning program?
I would. This goes back to earlier. I could not be more proud of the middle school because first semester we realized that the West Virginia virtual school system, we had about, I'd say around 460 some middle school virtual learners. And today we only have 106. But what we do have is almost 300 Wood County distance learners. So we have captured teachers, class periods, and our teachers are teaching our kids, reaching out to our kids, staying in touch with our kids. That did not happen first semester. We have, when you look at and you disaggregate the data, especially with middle school, virtual school, we had a high number of failure rates, and I believe it goes back to Superintendent Birch and the department's motto of, every child counts. You have to reach out and actually see what children are doing, making sure they're okay, and we can do that in our new virtual school system, which is a distance learning academy. And like I said, it's a huge difference between distance learning in virtual school. When you're looking at virtual school, you're looking at asynchronous learning. You're looking at assignments posted and the students go on. If a student needs help, they can email. In our distance learning academy, it's face-to-face. It's just virtually face-to-face. It's over Microsoft Teams. It's over Zoom, whatever it may be. But we have found that is the most effective way if students are off campus to educate our children, because we can see them, we can ask them questions, and you can tell a lot from just reading emotions and reading facial expressions. And most importantly, we have a lot of students that came back. We had quite a few students that come back to in-person learning for our 5-day model.
Okay. So last question for you. As educators, we continually examine our approach to instruction and make improvements where needed to benefit students. Are there any changes you're considering for virtual learning in the upcoming school year, and how do you think these changes will make it better?
Well, the large change and the big change is implementing our Wood County Distance Learning Academy throughout not only our county, but statewide. We're looking at really expanding. We're looking at expanding. We believe in our model. We believe it works, and we also believe there is no substitute for the human element, human component. You have to see students, and a lot of students learn like that. And believe me, the West Virginia Virtual School, I've had a couple parents reach out and say this has been the best thing since sliced bread. Their students are excelling. But those students are very highly motivated, and in some cases, some students may not have the motivation that it takes to complete asynchronous learning. So the distance learning model fits the mold or the instructional modality for most of our students who wish to be educated off campus.
Again, I'd like to thank you, Superintendent Hosaflook, for speaking with us today. I always look forward to coming to Wood County and seeing the innovations that you're implementing there. And we thank you for your time and appreciate you connecting with us for this week's Keeping Connected.
Sure. Thank you for having me.